The Torah that God gives to Moses has crowns upon them. Hence, if you look at a Torah scroll in a synagogue, various letters have crowns. Based on how many crowns they have, we can derive various teachings. For instance, let me drop one on you right now. Does everyone see the first word? Someone tell me, just to make sure we're looking at the same screen, what word is this?
That's Bereshit.
All right. On a Torah scroll, the Beit of Bereshit has 2 tagin on top of it. 2 tagin. In the Masoretic text, as well as the Torah scroll, it's also written extremely large, so that it's the largest letter in the word. The rest of the words are written in normal size, but the Beit is larger. Why? We're talking about the mechanics of the Hebrew language. So when we talk about the mechanics of the language, one of the things that we learn is the number element. The letter Beit is equivalent to what number?
2.
According to Psalms 90, 1,000 years is as how many days to the Creator?
1.
1 day.
1,000 of our years is as a single day to the Creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a lot of implications behind that. The Beit of Bereshit is written extremely large because Moshe is trying to have you hone in on something that you possibly wouldn't have saw. The term Bereshit means in the beginning. In the beginning. However, the vowel underneath the Beit is a shawah. Whenever the Beit has a shawah, it's usually with, not in. The Beit of Bereshit is a preposition. It can mean both in or with, depending upon the vowel underneath it. When there's a patak underneath the Beit, it's in. When there's a shawah underneath the Beit, it's with. What vowel is under here?
A shawah.
That means the correct pronunciation or interpretation is with beginning. But then you would say, well, that don't make no damn sense, which I'm sure it won't. It would only make sense if you use our general rule that we always say in class. You let Torah teach Torah. Throughout the book of Proverbs, King Solomon says 12 times, Reshit Chakma, Reshit Chakma, Reshit Chakma. Reshit means beginning, Chakma means wisdom. King Solomon continually equates the term Reshit with wisdom, so that we understand the term Reshit to literally refer to wisdom, even as the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, in speaking of wisdom, being first, the Torah says, I was there at the beginning before there was anybody. And it says, speaking of wisdom, I was there in the beginning before anything that the Creator made. Wisdom was there present. This is Proverbs chapter 8, verses 22 through 30, where wisdom is speaking, and she says, I was with him, I was with the Creator from the beginning before anything was created or made. So we equate in Hebraic lore and culture the term Reshit and Chakma. They're the same thing. Wisdom and beginning, the same thing. So now that you understand that, it's not with beginning God created the heavens and the earth. It's with wisdom. Let's take it a step further. Everyone can see my screen, right? Well, this is the Hebrew word for wisdom, guys. Chakma. There's the letter Chet, Kaf, Mem, and He. Can I have somebody volunteer to be my calculator? Anybody have a calculator?
Sure.
All right, thank you. All right, pull up your calculator real quick and let me know when you have it up.
It's up.
All right, get ready to add these numbers, all right?
All right.
The first letter in the word Chakma is the letter Chet. If I wanted to spell this letter out as a word, it would be spelled Chet Yod Tav, which, remember, Hebrew letters have numerical equivalencies. So Chet is, don't write this down.
Okay.
Chet is 8, Yod is 10, Tav is 400, so that's 418. Write that down.
Okay.
So the first letter is 418 when you spell it out fully. The second letter, Kaf, is spelled kaf and pei, which is 20 and 80. That's 100. So I need you to write down 100.
Okay.
So that's 418 plus 100.
Right.
Then we have the letter mem, which when you spell it out, it's spelled mem yod mem, or 40 10 40. 40 10 40 is 90. So far we have 418 plus 100 plus 90. The last letter is the letter hey, the fifth letter of the alphabet. You don't need another letter to spell the letter hey. So we can use that letter alone, and it's 5. So add 418 plus 100 plus 90 plus 5 and tell me what you get.
613. Oh, snap.
Because with the Torah, God created the heavens and the earth. That's the deeper meaning of Bereshit. With the Torah, God created the heavens and the earth.
That's beautiful.
And you would only get that if you understood Hebrew. So Bereshit, the baseline translation, the basic translation, surely is in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. That's basic though. The text was written for Hebrews by Hebrews. And it contains much more than a basic baseline meaning. And when you know Hebrew grammar, you know the Shawah under debate would render it with and not in, so that you're going to read it as with beginning. Then you say, well, that don't make sense unless I know that Reshit, or beginning in Hebrew, is also wisdom. So now it makes sense. With wisdom, God created the heavens and the earth. But when I break down the individual letters in the Hebrew word for wisdom, they add up to 613, just as the Torah says in reference to the commandments. It says, and this shall be your wisdom in the sight of the people. The 613 commandments represent wisdom. So, as I said, the debate of Bereshit on a Torah scroll is extremely large because Moses wants you to focus on something. The focus here is he's trying to tell you this is not in the beginning. That's why he's making the letter really, really big. He knows that you wouldn't translate it as with beginning because that wouldn't make sense. And he also, you can't see, he also has 2 tagin, 2 crowns sticking out of it. You find that on the Torah scroll, 2 crowns. Why 2 crowns? Well, the letter Beit has a numerical value of 2. And then there are 2 tagin protruding from it. Well, just as modern science says, the laws of the physical universe precede the creation of the physical universe by a couple thousand years. A couple thousand years would be at least 2,000 years. Moshe is trying to communicate to us that 2,000 years before creation, the Torah was already here and manifest. That's why there's no reference to the creation of light. Light simply is called into existence to manifest herself. She's been in creation because the light of day one is the Torah. The light of day one is the Torah itself. That's why the Creator speaks to it as if it's a character, a personality. Yehi or, why yehi or, light, be light. He is speaking to the Torah and saying, manifest yourself, because all things are about to be created through you. How do we know he's speaking about the Torah? In Genesis 1:4, in reference to the light, he says in Hebrew, et ha'or, the light, where it says, and God saw the light. Let me show you. Right here. Vayireh Elohim et ha'or. Vayireh, and Elohim saw et ha'or, the light. Remember the number element class? When we're talking about the mechanics of the language? Well, Aleph is 1, Tav is 400. That's 401. Then we have 5, which is Hey. The Aleph is 1, the Wav is 6, the Resh is 200. So add 200 plus 6 plus 1 plus 5 plus 400 plus 1. And tell me that's not 613. So when the Creator says, and God saw the light, et ha'or, the light, that has a numerical equivalency of 613 in Hebrew, which means, again, we're talking about the manifestation of Torah. The Torah was already here before anything was created. The Creator doesn't create it. He calls it into existence. He calls it into manifestation. He commands it to manifest itself. Why? It's already here. This is why there are 2 tagin placed on the Beit of Bereshit in a Torah scroll. Because what we learn from it is the idea that the Torah preceded creation by no less than 2,000 years. Now, that is the deeper meaning of what Yeshua is saying here. This is why I know he was a Torah master, because to know all that meant he was very, very deep into knowledge of Torah. He says, now that you understood everything I just explained, now let's come back here. For I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter, jot, iota, or yod, but he's saying not one yod nor tagin shall pass from the Torah until all is accomplished. Tagin, or crowns, are placed on the tops of Hebrew letters because Hebrew scholars can derive additional sacred and even esoteric teachings on any subject matter in the Torah just by how many crowns are there and on what letter we can find them. That is what Yeshua is referring to. That refers directly to discernment of Torah. And he's saying none of that shall pass until all is fulfilled.